Hello and welcome. My name is Mary Lou McPherson and I'm one of the National Practice Leads for the NDIS Zero Tolerance Initiative. And I'm also a member of the NDIS Practice Support Network. This film you're about to watch is part of the NDIS Code of Conduct series, which covers each of the 7 obligations. These films can be watched in sequence with opportunity for reflection and discussions in between each film. Alternatively, you can watch each film on its own if there's a particular obligation of interest, or perhaps something is happening in the workplace that needs to be addressed. It is important to be aware that some things talked about in these films might bring up certain feelings and may make you feel uncomfortable. This may be because of something you've experienced or seen in your work or personal life, and those feelings may come up today, next week, or next month. We ask that you take a moment and think about someone you trust that you can talk to if you need to discuss any of the issues covered in this film. And remember, it's okay if you need to take a break. Contact details are on your screen for Lifeline, Beyond Blue, and 1-800-RESPECT. Or you can also use your Employee Assistance Program. I'm now going to hand you over to Samson from the NDIS Practice Support Network. The NDIS Practice Support Network comprises of skilled facilitators with a disability and people with extensive experience working in the disability sector.
Hello, my name is Samson. I'm a member of the NDIS Practice Support Network and I live in Victoria. So let us have a look at Obligation 4 of the NDIS Code of Conduct. To act with integrity, honesty and transparency, which means being truthful and responsible and clear in what services you are offering. This is about doing your job in an honest and truthful way. When starting your job, it is important to be honest about your work history and qualification, and always being honest with the people you support. And it also means doing the right thing and not taking advantage of people you work with. Having clear boundaries between your work and your private life, and not accepting money or gifts that might influence the way you support people. We will now have a look at the Zero Tolerance film around power and control, about professional boundaries and the importance of being friendly, not friends. Pause the film and get to the reflect. We will now have a look at the screen and open up discussions around your group, and the facilitator's guide around is also there to help you. When you have completed the discussions, come back to me. I'm going to go and listen to one of my favorite hip hop tracks. See you soon.
Power and control.
Power can be used in good and bad ways.
Some people have more power than others, and this is true in every part of our lives. When we talk about having a positive culture in a workplace, we need to think about what we can do so everyone can use their own personal power.
Power imbalances in relationships.
A lot of people have made a lot of decisions for me about my life. I feel very angry and very sad about this.
I think when we talk about power dynamics, there are the absolute unacceptable, reportable kind of breaches of power. As well as that, there are lots of little everyday experiences that people have where power is taken. It might be choices around what you're going to have to eat. It might be choices around what product you should buy when you go shopping. It's like, oh, you want this cheese grater because it's cheaper. You know, and it's about saying, well, no, actually, I'm going to choose the cheese grater.
I think it's really important that support workers are aware that they have more power.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely to have that in the front of their brain all the time, because it's very easy to be subtle about those things, and with all the best intentions you can take someone's power away when you are in a position of being more powerful.
We've spoken before around that concept of being friendly but not being friends. Did you want to open up a little bit more about that, Kath?
It's a challenge to maintain a working relationship with a support worker. It's about trying to have a friendly relationship but not become friends. Because when you become friends, then you do take on what's happening for them, and you do take on those bad days that they come and tell you that they're having, and you do sort of change what you ask for and how you feel about it.
The power of language and information.
What about language? Do you think that language and the language that we use has an impact on power and dynamics?
Because it shapes our attitudes to each other, I think it's sort of the foundation of the way we think about speaking up and just everyday interaction.
And then I suppose a related conversation around language is information. And when we're supporting someone, there's always a lot of information that a lot of people have access to. So how does that affect power and dynamics?
I feel worried you get really upset and start talk about me to other people about things that they shouldn't, even to taxi drivers. This is my private information, and I should get to choose who I share this information with.
What we often see in the lives of people with disability is that it's sometimes their history and their reputation and a deficit medical model that takes the precedence, and it really, really upsets people.
Instead of the medical model where it says this person might hit you, this person does this person has this issue, it should be this person loves to do this person likes it when they have a shower with extra water on their face.
How can we use the power we have?
How can we use that power in a positive way to ensure that we're empowering other people?
By sharing it, telling our stories.
Attending self-advocacy groups and talking about it and empowering other people who's gone through the same, and to let them know it's okay to speak up.
It might be just talking to a support worker about not speaking on my behalf. I was in a public place recently, and the new support worker thought she was helping by saying that something was really important to me. And so after that, I just kind of said, hey, I really appreciate what you were trying to do, but it's up to me to speak for myself, and I'm still learning to practice that in my late 40s. And so in that small way, I just tried to take a little bit of power back.
As supporters, we make assumptions every day around what people's capacity are, and it's really not great. And so knowing what that looks like and then taking steps to make sure that that power imbalance is as evened out as possible.
What can organisations do?
What can organisations do to address the imbalances that may arise?
Actually listening to what people want, asking the question and listening.
The importance of people with disability being at every level of the organisation if we are going to be able to influence the power dynamics in an organisation. So not just the recipients of services, on the board, in management, at every single level of decision making. There's just no excuses anymore.
How can you recognise where power is not shared equally? What can you do about it? This film is an NDIS Zero Tolerance initiative funded by the Victorian Government.
Welcome back. How did you go with those questions? Integrity, honesty, and transparency are crucial to developing trust in a relationship between people with a disability and workers. For people with a disability to be informed consumers, they need accurate information about their NDIS providers and workers that support them. They should be able to make their own decisions in their best interest, free from pressures from workers. This brings us to the end of Obligation 4. Before I go, I would like to talk about something that I'm very passionate about, which is advocacy. Advocacy allows people with a disability to have a voice and to be able to learn to stand up for themselves. And also, by watching other people stand up, hopefully build up the courage to talk about their issues and and also bring their issues to the forefront of the table. And then maybe action can be taken.